Now, it's such a beautiful car. You want to make no mistakes. I say nice, smooth, and simple, but it goes to the racetrack. Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great weekend, and you know what? I can see the Eagle fans are kindly coming up from hiding, because I see Twiz Digga is back to being here first, as always, like he used to do before they took that L in the Super Bowl. Welcome back, Twiz Digga. How you doing? Hope you're doing good and all that. Lady Libra, what's up? One of our first ladies in the house. So let me get to my esteemed panel that's already in the house. Let me say shout out to everybody. Lola, I'm sorry, Miss Hot Sauce. I'm burning for you. I gotta do the file over. I forgot about it. Let me bring my panel in here. Let me say thank you all for joining me, because it's springtime. The weather's getting nicer in places and all that. For you ladies and guys to take time out to come in, join us, and be part of the live stream, I appreciate it. I really and truly do. How is everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Doing good? Thomas? Thomas, you're always out there weightlifting, man.
Huh?
I see you all the times out there weightlifting, man.
I got you right. Yep.
I mean, you working at weights hard. And then there's Michael. What's up, Michael? How you doing?
Doing good, Mark. How about you?
I'm living the dream. Any day that I can literally wake up and get out of bed is going to be a great day, because that's the biggest challenge that I have. If I can do that, I can face anything else from that point. As long as I can get up and get out of bed, I'm happy. So I'm always great.
Happy
And
Sunday.
Mr. Cowboy, what's up?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. It's a beautiful day. I'm blessed today, and hope everybody else is too.
Amen to that. All right. And, of course, Stacy Schubert. Stacy just got finished doing her live stream right there. Shout out to Stacy. Definitely check out her channel, Roland's Review. This year is totally different than last year. You remember why we started this last year. This was, one, we had time on Sunday and we were missing playing football. Miss Gibson, what's up? What's up? What's up, Miss Gibson? We started this because we had Sundays, no football, and trying to fill in some of it. And it became a bitch session. Let's be clear. We all were bitching bad about the Cowboys. I know I killed them. I killed them along with the national media and stuff, because we were sitting here watching Edwin Strickland. What's up, Edwin?
Take the money out, all of it.
We were sitting here watching every team out there going through and making all these big moves and getting players left and right and spending money. And we just kept seeing our team just kind of losing players, and hearing, I think the worst part was hearing Stephen Jones just saying that, watching the Rams and what they do, we don't believe that's the right way to build a team. It's like, dude,
Play with a great deal of
it's like, dude, they win in Super Bowls. What you do?
Right. Yeah, what are you doing?
About the Rams,
What are you doing? Because we don't see you doing shit.
No. Yeah, with the Rams, because they had to give up a lot of draft capital just to win one Super Bowl. So,
from where I'm standing, Michael.
Draft capital will be worth
So wait, hold on, Michael.
I take it. I mean,
Michael, are you saying that you wouldn't want to be the Rams if you won the Super Bowl? That you'd have a couple of down years?
I would love that.
well,
I'd go all in.
if it was me, I would want to win multiple Super Bowls instead of just one
Oh, Lordy.
to make it worth more.
Dude, 30 years.
So, Michael, you're one of them greedy dudes, right?
We're
We're going to call you greedy. Greedy Grady, okay? Now, at this point, I'd be happy with just one right now. I mean, it's great to say, hey, I don't want to settle for one. I want multiple ones.
Yeah, I'm greedy. I want as many Super Bowls I can get.
Okay, so
But you got to take what you can get sometimes, yo.
I'm serious.
You have to build a team. In
gotta
order to
take
build a
Dallas
team,
Cowboys-
you
the
need a
Dallas
coach like
Cowboys
Jimmy
have not
Johnson
been
that
able
can
to
build a
celebrate.
team.
Okay, let's try and get one person at a time. I see we got a big panel in here now. Okay. All right. So, James, you were saying?
I said in order to win multiple Super Bowls, you got to be able to build a team first.
There you
gotta
go.
Have the right coaching staff. You can't just put players in there and just think, oh, we're going to win a Super Bowl. You need to get them built up, chemistry, all that.
Well, I think we got the coaching staff for the most part. We just got to mesh it together better. I mean, think about it. We got a defensive coordinator that most teams would enjoy having as their head coach.
Oh, without a doubt.
And
you can see the difference. Well, you can see the difference of what that guy did from Mike Nolan. It was only 3 years ago that we were one of the worst defenses in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. Hey. And it's not like we brought in a ton of talent from outside the building. We didn't do like the Rams and bringing in Ndamukong Suh and damn, I can't think of his name. Frick. Denver, Buffalo, Rams.
Von Miller?
Von Miller, yeah. We didn't do that. We brought in, Malik Hookers and Donovan Wilsons and things and drafted.
Yeah.
But you definitely look at that and say that's coaching. And hopefully Mike McCarthy being the coach instead of Kellen Moore will make a difference.
Yeah.
On the offensive side.
One thing, though, I like about Dan Quinn is that whenever our defense is on the field, it's like I can just chill back and relax. Like I don't got to be stressed out about this and that. With Kellen Moore last year, like I was on the edge of my seat because I know he's about to make some kind of stupid call, and then it's going to cost us the game. And I think it did right there, really at halftime of the 49ers game, because that was a close game. It was a defensive ball game, and that field goal killed us at the end of this first half. But with Dan Quinn, I can just sit back and chill because I know he's going to have his defense where they need to be.
Yeah.
We're going to be all right this year. Jerry Jones need to get his crust ass out the way. As long as he get out the way, we're going to be all right.
Amen to that.
Let's get out the way.
What's kind of funny is, I've got the troll from hell. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say his name or anything, but I actually have to thank him because sometimes bad things happen, and when you're in the middle of bad things, you don't realize that good things can come from it. But when a lot of hard feelings happened here on YouTube years ago with Earl Thomas, okay? With Earl Thomas, I had gotten a person who had given me good information and stuff in the past and things, and I had said, it told me that the Cowboys were interested in Earl Thomas, and they were talking to Seattle about trying to make a trade for him, and they were willing to throw in Orlando Scandrick. And I did a video and said, "Listen, don't shoot the messenger, but this is what I'm hearing." And it took a while. It was going out there, boom, people were talking about it. And so people were going then to Mike Fish's, before Mike Fisher is on YouTube and things. And, he was going through and he basically said, there's nothing to that. And where did you hear that from? And it's like, I wouldn't take, what you're hearing from people like on YouTube. They're not credible. And threw me under the bus. And when that happened, Simon says, who, if you've ever listened to Simus holds no punches. Simus will cuss you out in the middle, and everybody's got a little different taste. But he literally said, Mark Holmes is a clickbaiter, and if his ass comes to doubt, I'm going to kick his teeth in, basically.
Oh, wow.
And so it ended up being that for years it was always, I would get a lot of negativity. And so with the whole troll out there, I started talking to him. And it ended up feeling like we were old. Okay, we were like the movie Life. Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. At the end of the movie, we're sitting in rocking chairs just talking shit about the old. That's what it felt like talking with them. But he had a theory when we had that the interview I was doing with them. That the theory was that the Joneses were trying last year to basically redshirt the season to get ready for this year to go to Vegas. That they were trying to clear off salary cap, space and stuff, get rid of, Lyle Collins was a big salary. They didn't want to pay Connor Williams because they didn't feel like he was the guy. Amari Cooper, they're looking at this and saying, that's still kind of high priced, and the issues that they had, that they were not planning on winning last year. It was about building for this season. But like in the movie Major League, they played better than they thought, and all of a sudden then they're scrambling trying to get a wide receiver. And looking at the Joneses now, they've made some bigger moves. I mean, they never make any moves in the first week.
Mm-hmm.
They made, I have to say, great moves for what it cost them. Texans wanted a number 1 during the season last year and wanted you to take the whole salary. You got them for a 5th? And they eating $6 million of the cap?
Yeah. But we still do need to re-sign Jonathan Hankins.
Not yet. I think he's playing. I think he's playing hardball because he wants to. Cap. You know how Cap Boy is. Cap Boy don't want to pay you, so Hankins is probably like, I'm gonna kick back and relax. Because think about last year with our safety. That last year he deleted all his social media, screw the Cowboys because Stephen Jones offered him $1 million. Jaron Kearse. And after some time went through, they bumped up the numbers, they got him in the fold, and everything was hunky-dory and, good. And that may be the case right there with Hank because he's not signed with anybody else. And you have to look at this season. The only thing I could say is one of two things. Either teams saw the Cowboys not spend a whole bunch of money and things and do well, or the owners got together and say, we need to get this free agency and these trades under control and get better prices from these players. I don't know which it is, but it's kind of for this free agency period this year. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the ball is in Hankins' court right now, y'all. Because before Hankins came from the Raiders, we were averaging like 140 yards on the ground giving up.
Yeah.
And I think whenever we got him, he knocked that down by he helped knock that down by 30-something yards, something like that, right?
I agree.
We need that man.
Believe me, you're talking to the big man in the middle guy right here. That's what I believe in. I believe in that. And that's where I not only want to get him signed, bring me another guy. In fact, I'm still pissed off that we let John Ridgway go.
Yeah. I'm just thinking if we can get the defense or sign Hankins and then get a backup linebacker, maybe one that's not a starter, but a little bit below a starter. I think we'll be fine with the defense. Defense can just chill or whatever. In the draft, you can get offensive lineman, defensive lineman, and maybe a receiver or two.
There you
I think
go.
that's what they should do.
Gina Dallas Diva, welcome. What's up, girl? I agree with you on that. Quite frankly, when you look at the defense, that right now that's the only glaring hole right now is the defensive line. We're okay at defensive ends. The Cowboys always have plenty of defensive ends, edge rushers. We're good there. The defensive line, we still have OC. We still have Baltimore. We still have Gallimore. The Canadian Bulldozer. And if we can get Hankins in there, you've got, a good group.
Yeah, Mark, he got married the other day.
Did he?
Gallimore did.
Okay. All right. He's gonna have shit to do.
So Mark, I have a question.
He better have a hell of a year this year if he wants that new contract.
You're right about that. He needs to because last year was kind of a disappointment. Brian, what's your question?
So going to the draft, well, what type of tight end would you like? Would you want that 6'7"
Darnell Washington?
Tight end?
I want that kid from Notre Dame.
Darnell Washington, 6'7" of man.
If the Cowboys want to draft Darnell Washington, they're going to have to probably take him in the first round because he'll be gone before the Cowboys pick again at 58 in the second round.
But here's where, depending on how the draft goes, what if you could move back a couple of spaces and maybe pick up a fourth or a third round? And get him.
Can't move up because we move up, we're going to have to trade some people. And that ain't happening.
Or picks.
But, there might be a scenario where guys want to move up to the 26th spot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then the Cowboys move back.
And in which case, depending on how it falls.
Because if you remember, there is no 25. Miami lost their first round draft choice from the Tom Brady thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So, yeah, there you go.
Brady's playing for the Dolphins now?
So, technically, we're drafting at 25.
But the thing is though, because we only have 7 picks this year because we gave up 2 a 5th round.
Well, yeah. Well, we gave up the 2. Well, one was a compensatory pick and one was our own. So we still have a 5th.
2 5th-round picks that were.
I think 2 of them were compensatory picks, but I'm not exactly.
No, we had
sure.
One of them was a compensatory pick. The other one was actually our pick from the draft. So we still actually have the compensatory pick, which is at the end of the 5th round.
Okay.
Either way, we still have 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. I think we're missing the 6th, and then we have. I think 7.
We still have a. No, we give up a 6th next year to get Cooks because we give a 5th and a 6th.
Yeah.
So we still have our 6th this year and our 7th.
Well, here's the good news: is at least with them signing, Rondell Jones. You've got a guy who doesn't have a lot of miles on him. He has averaged 4.4 yards a carry. He does have Super Bowls 2, Kansas City and Tampa Bay, under his belt. And so you can look at that and say, okay, we've got Rico Dowdle, and of course we got Tony Pollard. So we've got that scenario now, which is the NFL hottie of having multiple running backs that you can kind of throw in there. The worry for me on offense is still the offensive line because we have the X factor of Tyron Smith. When's he going down?
Mm-hmm. Can I add something to that real quick, y'all?
Go ahead, Mr. Cowboy.
Why is it every time I'm listening to some YouTube streamers or whatever and this and that, and they're giving Jones a really hard time? I think Jones is a good back. He didn't play because of Pacheco, but Pacheco was good. And people are giving him a hard time, and they're expecting him to do exactly what Zeke did this season. Like, he's going to get a share of that, but he's not going to be responsible for everything that Ezekiel Elliott did this season. Yeah, Zeke had 12 touchdowns last season. So maybe Jones need to get about at least 4 and then give like 4 of those to Malik Davis and then give 4, to Tony Pollard. I think we need to get off that guy's – I think some Cowboys fans need to get off his back a little bit and just let him come and do his thing. And I think he could be a good, productive running back for us.
What I'm looking at, okay, I mean, let me pull up his stats real quick because I'm okay with it because he's not the battering ram, but you have to understand that this offense isn't going to be like it was before. Yes, Zeke Elliott is a great short yardage back, but the thing is we were leaving stuff on the field because Zeke couldn't get through the hole. The holes were there. If, Zeke had a little more speed, that 3-yard run might have been a 12 or 13-yard run, so to speak. So you may end up losing some of that short yardage ability with Zeke, but when you look at his career numbers at rushing, yards per carry, let me pull it up real. Let's see. Rushing, where is it? 4.2. Look, 2019, 4.2, 5.1, 4.2, 4.1. So, he was averaging almost a half yard more per carry than Zeke was last year. Okay.
Mark, and another thing,
mm-hmm.
what most people ain't looking at.
What's that?
He's fresh too.
That's what I'm saying. He's only got 390 carries, I believe. No, I'm sorry, 550 carries on his body. So he's not battered and bruised. Where he's slowed down. He's been in the league for 5 years, but he hasn't been overused.
Right.
And that's the problem with Zeke. Zeke is, we always say, every year we always see Zeke Elliott, workouts, where Zeke looks to be great and everything else. And you love it. It's like, yeah, man, Zeke looked like he ain't lost a step. But it's different when you get out there on the field. Unfortunately, those nagging injuries keep compounding and getting worse and takes longer and longer to recover. And that's where you're seeing injuries that aren't keeping him per se off the field, but injuries that are hampering his speed and his ability to get downfield. And as sad as it is, unfortunately, that's the life of a running back. And it sucks because those guys take more abuse than anybody else, and they ain't getting paid jack. Most of them will never get that second big contract. At least Zeke is the second highest paid running back of all time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got a question, though.
What's that?
How do you think Ezekiel Elliott looks at the fans, considering he's no longer a Cowboy, and he's trying to sign with the Eagles? Do you think that's something that he's going against Jerry Jones or the fan base? Because you can't sound the Eagles. Like,
yeah, you can.
I would rather see him in the Commanders or Giants uniform than the Eagles. Personally, me.
The Eagles don't want him.
Right. The Eagles don't want him. But here's the thing. Okay. Let's say you break up with your lady. Right? And that lady finds out that y'all gonna be at the same event at the same, together. But not together, but you're both gonna be at the same event. She gonna wear that dress that's like pow, 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 right? She gonna spend extra time making her hair look real good, extra that red lipstick on there, that's just like that. And she gonna make sure she got a little extra sway on her hips, and she gonna go by you and say, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And make sure she makes those extra little turns. Why? Because she want to make sure you misses you, right? She wants to hurt you,
right?
So what do you think Zeke wants to do, man? Listen, I want to end my career with the Cowboys and stuff, man. You're getting rid of me, man. I want revenge. I want the opportunity to play against you twice a year, so that way I can show you that you made a mistake by letting me go. I can't say I blame him.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody wants Zeke, though, to tell you the truth.
You know what? I have said it would not surprise me if Zeke ended up being like Des Bryant. Where
probably end up somewhere like the Bengals.
Well,
just because he's from Ohio.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, he'll try, but it won't work out.
Well, Des did get an offer from the Ravens, though, at the same time, but he refused that offer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Gina Dallas Diva. Yeah, exactly, Gina.
And
she putting the peaches on out there.
Zeke, it wasn't because we didn't like Zeke.
No, it wasn't.
Because they're going to a West Coast offense, and West Coast offense is way different than.
Oh yeah, Zeke, he ain't got the quickness for that West Coast offense. If you ask me,
So, I don't think that they did it just because we don't like you or anything.
No, it's not. It's never that way. It's nothing personal. It's business. And here's the problem. We got $224 million, right? We got 53 men that have to. Eddie! What's up, Eddie? Shout out for the big super chat. Bam, 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 bam. All right, so think of it this way. If you have 53-man roster, $224 million, then that means you have an average of $4.2 million that you can afford to spend on the players, right? Zeke contract is 4 of those players. $16 million cap hit, that's 4 people. So that means you got to get 4 people basically, or 3 other people to basically take like $1 million or less just to keep that guy. And that's the problem. This has always been the problem. You can go back through in like the 2010, 2011, 12 years and stuff like that. We'd have 8, 9 Pro Bowlers every year. Des Bryant, Tony Romo, DeMarcus Ware, Jason Witten, Tyron Smith. But the problem is they were eating up half of the salary. And once you got those guys hurt, you're going down to a Chaz Green. And see, this is the problem for the Cowboys. We're always good during the regular season, and here's the reason why we're not good in the playoffs. We are battered and bruised, and we're playing all those top-tier guys that are all high-paid players, and they're worn down. And when we're getting down to that next level, just like when Tony Pollard got hurt, who else we got? And see, that's where New England realized it's not just about having all these Pro Bowlers, 8 or 9 good guys. We need to have about 30 guys that are all really good that are interchangeable. So if I lose this one, I'm not dropping back down. David Wiley, what's up, David?
Yeah.
What about Road Dogs?
This isn't new to us. This has been going on since, remember, we got rid of Emmitt Smith?
Yeah.
Bill Parcells came?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Same thing. Man, they're going to a new offense.
Tony Dorsett? You went to Denver.
So it's not like, we don't like, we all love
DeMarco Murray to the Eagles. Marion Barber to the Bears. It's kind of a Cowboy thing.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah. What's up, Scott?
Hey. I just want to see if anybody else feels like this. Like, I think the Cowboys have done a great job. I was one of the few people that liked the receiver we got rather than I would have loved Hopkins, but he didn't have the speed of who we ended up with. But My fear now is like we'll reach in the second round to get somebody like Kelvin Joseph that didn't end up working out. But
Morgan.
I want us to reach for a receiver at this point because if either one of our main two receivers or Pollard goes down, we're in trouble. We need some more. What do they call them? Force multipliers on offense.
Well, look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. We're still way ahead of the game from where we were last year because we didn't have anybody. We had CeeDee Lamb, and you could go through before Michael Gallup came back. Not one of the other receivers had an NFL touchdown. Think about that for a second. Everybody's talking about Dak sucks. Dak sucks. You're telling me that every single receiver other than CeeDee Lamb, and we weren't sure that CeeDee Lamb was even a number one. There were people saying that he's really number two. I don't know if he's number one. And he didn't look great in training camp. But all the other guys were just a bunch of guys. And even when Michael Gallup came back, he was still not the same guy. I hope he's going to be the guy he used to be 1 year removed from that, last season. But we had nothing. But to think that we got maybe a healthy Michael Gallup and a Brandon Cooks, we're ahead of the game. And maybe Jalen Tolbert, his eyes aren't wide open anymore, and maybe he'll be, Noah Brown at least.
Jalen Tolbert is the only receiver on the Cowboys right now that's going to make them not draft a receiver because they still don't know what they got with him yet. He didn't really get a chance last year.
Now, here's the thing, though. We all think that every player is for every system. But it may be because I think part of the thing with him, and boy, we got a lot of people. Good Lord.
Game time, Brian.
It's been a long time since we've had this, man. It must be good times here with the Cowboys. Because we got, good Lord, we must have 12 people in the panel. Shout out. And let me say shout out to everybody because nobody's talking over everybody and everything else. It's all working really good. With the offense that we had with Kellen Moore, there were so many stops and comeback routes, which is a lot different than catching the ball in motion. You know what I mean? Because some guys are better suited at, I'm on the move, let me catch the ball in stride. But how many times have you seen where it's a curl route, a stop route, or a comeback route, and that may not have been suited for what Jalen Tolbert's done? You know what I mean? And maybe being West Coast, because see, West Coast is predicated on you're moving downfield and you're going to get the ball while you're moving, and that might suit him better.
It wouldn't surprise me if Jalen Tolbert surprised a lot of people.
Well, he could be the Terrence Steele this year. You think about Terrence Steele, his rookie year, people were like, oh, man, this guy's a bum, man. Get rid of him. That guy was
Brett Favre. He couldn't even run.
Oh.
When he played for the Atlanta.
Yeah.
When he became,
Exactly. Well, you think of like Danny Amendola, a guy who was here that they looked at and they're kind of like, we can let him go.
He go to New England and win 2 Super Bowl rings.
Right, exactly. So sometimes it's not suited for what they're doing. And maybe, just maybe, the change in offense and having a year behind him, he's going to be a little more comfortable. It's hard to go from college to the pros. Now, he may be. Now, we were talking about reaching in the second round. I think part of the problem is the Cowboys' philosophy. The Cowboys find too many good players throughout the draft. You think about finding a Terrence Steele. You think about some of the undrafted rookie free agents that we have found that have become really good, solid players and contributors on the team. You look at how they do with first-round picks. I don't think it's a problem of their scouting to find those guys. I think it's more of a philosophy of we want to get first-round talent in the second round, so we're going to take a risk on an injury or character issues. Because they look at it and say, we know we got a solid first-round pick that's going to be a good player. If we can get a second-round player that's going to be like a first-round player, then we got it. And that's why they take a chance on Boss Man Fat, Tristan Hill. Because Tristan Hill fell because he had problems with the coaches in Florida at his school. Jalen Smith, will he ever play again? Sam Williams, technically, he had some issues in college and stuff. So they always reach for somebody who's scratch and dent, discounted. and hope that they're going to be a number one. So I would almost rather them stop doing that whole we're looking for first round talent and give me the best player that's there instead of a guy who should have been a first rounder that fell because they were smoking weed. Randy Gregory. Agree?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
I wish they had the same philosophy whenever it came to drafting Randy Moss.
Well, you know what? The Cowboys weren't the only one that missed up on that one.
Yeah,
a lot of people that missed up.
The Cowboys called him and said, "Hey, we're going to draft you." You know.
Well,
I think really Randy Moss is the reason why Jerry Jones give players a second chance.
Well, you know what? But there's a lot of guys that you say we're going to draft you. You know, you want to, we're going to draft you. We get a chance and so forth. I mean, I think they said that to Johnny Manziel. Everybody in the sister thought for sure. You know, you may say that to go ahead and baffle somebody else to try and get the player that you really want. You know, you're going to put out a lot of misinformation, and unfortunately, players are going to get used by the NFL one way or another. Yeah. So,
what do you think about that guy? You posted a video today, I think it was, and the kid from Texas, or the Texas TCU.
Yeah, TCU guard. He's like, what is his name right now?
Avila.
Yeah. He ended up basically going on TMZ for about a 2.5 minute interview, and being that he's from Arlington, Texas, and played at TCU, he said it would be great to play for the Cowboys because then I'm right here at home. I think he's the number 2 guard prospect.
I think he went to Arlington High School.
Yeah, and so the projections. Number 2 as a guard.
2 prospect.
Right. But he has played every position on the line except left tackle. So in some regards, you look at that, you know how the Cowboys like to be a mad scientist and take a player and say, well, yeah, we understand you're a guard, but we're going to make you a tackle. And
he's made Steve Avila. Yeah. He actually played center at TCU. So
right.
He's more comfortable at being a center because he struggled a little bit at left guard.
You guys know what, though?
But he's also played right tackle, too. Eddie, please tell the folks to stop saying that we messed up talent and blew up careers. We did the best we could. Signed Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett. Eddie!
Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett. You know what, though?
Yeah. What's that?
I'm sitting here thinking, because if we could get that Avila guy, I think we could probably draft back, give up that first-round pick, get us an extra second-round pick, maybe a third also, or maybe a fourth or whatever. And I think we could get him then. And then we can maybe even get another piece also.
Well, I think
we're already kind of set. We don't really need that first-round pick. I mean, of course it's not.
What?
I think we could draft back and then be all right.
Okay. Let me give you my philosophy on what you want to get from the draft.
Please do.
You want to get an impact player that is a day one starter that makes a difference right now. Micah Parsons, that guy, that dude. CeeDee Lamb was that dude, okay? You got to get that. Second thing, you need to get a second starter out of there. They don't have to be an impact player, but a second starter on that deal. Third thing, some depth. Guys that if called and needed into, you got that, and a special teamer. To me, that's a successful draft. So when you say, oh, we don't need that first round draft, the hell we don't. We need a guy who gives us a little bit of oomph to get us over the hump. Now, the reason I actually like him is he does have position flex. And don't always go by everything that you saw in college because, if we all went by what happened in college, then there would never be any mixes in the mock drafts and stuff, that everybody would always be right where they were, and you would never see any undrafted rookie free agents as Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. I think I said it wrong. I think I was thinking it a totally different way than I said it. But I'm listening.
I mean, for me, I'm still worried. I would have loved to have gotten Hopkins. I still would love to get Hopkins. And looking at the dynamics of everything that's going on right now, where at some point the Texans are going to be, they're looking right now and seeing $26 million cap hit. And at some point, we don't want to pay that. So by June 1st, and it may be that it takes till June, they want to get rid of that contract. And so you start looking at that and saying, well, the draft's already over. We're looking at the draft pick next year. We'd like to clear this cap space because we're not winning this year. Kyler Murray's not going to be ready to start the season. And we got a new coach. We are building for down the road. We need to get that cash at some point and whatever we can get on it. The Texans, they wanted a first round last year, right? They settled for a fifth now because they waited longer and longer and longer. And I'm learning the hard way too, that sometimes when you get a deal, you need to jump on it. I keep seeing this Capital One shopping and things, and like I was looking at this mixer I was going to buy. I was like, oh, okay, because they said, $60 off and stuff like that. I was like, oh, man, that's a great deal. Let me jump on that. And I waited till the next day, and it was only good for like right then and there. It's like, damn, so I missed that $60. But the Texans at some point, actually not the Texans, excuse me, the Cardinals at some point are going to be looking and saying, shit. Okay, we wanted this, first. Nobody's giving that. Well, we wanted a second. Now we're at third. At some point, they might be at a fifth round pick.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
It would definitely be worth that fifth round pick.
Pound for pound beast, shout out. Just stopped to support one of the best Cowboys YouTubers in the media. Woo! Big things next season. Well, let me say one thing. Let me say one thing, pound for pound. The journalists out there would say we're not really media, but I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. Shout out to you. That's just my thoughts on that. Right, we're on YouTube. The new media. See, we're the new media as opposed to the old media.
That's where they're all fleeing. They're all coming to YouTube. Like you said, theirs is dying. So now they got to stop talking crap about
it. Definitely.
Hey, Mark.
Definitely.
That's really like Stephen A. Smith was pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
In a way, you can look at it like this. You beat most of the ESPN journalists to the new thing. Think about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you've been here how long doing this?
2016, I got my first 1,000 subscribers on my other channel.
So you got them beat by 7 years so far.
Yeah, well, they've got the credentials and things like that, but it's all good. It's not. You know what? Here's the thing: there are so many YouTube channels, so many Cowboys bloggers, and there's just enough to go around. It doesn't need to be a competition where it's like I'm gonna diss you and screw you over. No, man. Listen, the bottom line is, at least with us, with the Cowboy YouTubers and things, and I don't care if you're talking about Law or Vosh or Simus or Duke Bothers or My Cowboys Family, we're all Cowboy fans, and our interest is seeing them win. Stephen A. on the Dan Levitar show, he put it out there perfectly, actually, because he said you get people on YouTube that it's not about the facts, about getting people to watch, in which case you are trying to get a reaction. That's what Shady McCoy's doing. Dak is ass. Why? He's not a journalist. He's a dumpster fire guy who's just looking for a reaction. Of course, everybody watches because he's saying something outrageous, whether it's true or not.
Anything.
Well, yeah. And that has its place, unfortunately. But when you listen to guys like us, you know that we're not going to just try and bullshit you with what's going on. We have a vested interest. We want to see them win. That's what our thing is. And we're also more of a specialized. We're specializing in the Cowboys, as ESPN is trying to cover everything, and you only get a little bit here and there of what you're actually looking for. So I'm happy to be here and actually surprised.
I got a question.
Yeah.
This is kind of off of that topic, but when do you think the actual schedule is going to be released?
That's in May.
May?
Yeah.
It's a long time away, man. We still got, 6 months until football season starts?
Man, come on. We got the draft at 1 month from tomorrow. Did I see Game Time in here? I could have sworn I saw Game Time.
Hey, man, you got to have patience, man.
And SSL TV, man, where you driving to, bro?
I'm at work. I work for Amazon.
Oh, I didn't see the Amazon jacket. Okay, be careful out there.
A little bit.
Were you just delivering some of this stuff to my house?
Delivery, I'm waiting for it.
No, I just got a bunch of stuff. Was that you dropping it off?
Hey, I wish. I wish it was. I would have stopped.
Okay, all right.
It said I got I got a Dallas Cowboy hoodie that's coming through Amazon.
All right, well, I'm glad we could be of service to you.
I got a request here from Gina. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Fuck them birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Now we shoot those birds out of the sky. Stupid dumbasses
Mark,
managed to give up a 3rd and 30 to my sexy arm. Pathetic defense and team. No wonder I own those piece of shit frauds every damn year. Don't get me started on the fans.
There you go.
You boo me while I earned a respected award. Losing the Super Bowl was just karma for you fuckheads. I can't wait to drop 100 on your heads next season while being the daddy of the NFC East again.
Love that clip. Love that clip.
You
I'm
know,
sorry.
you guys remind me of you, Brian, and Primetime. Y'all like the Wolf Pack off of The Hangover.
Oh, man.
Y'all go travel.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's already sending me pictures of beat up cones and shit. So we're not in an RV, man.
I tell you what's funny.
What's up, Game Time?
Okay,
What's
so
up, man? How is everybody?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good. I got a funny story to go with that because, you know, I was dealing with Hilton. I'm not staying away from Marriott. Just saying. We're not staying at a Marriott.
I thought we were gonna hang out at a Marriott.
No,
hang out at the bar. You know,
won't be. You won't catch me at a Marriott. Okay, okay. But I was on the phone with Hilton.
That's what I just said.
I was on the phone with Hilton, trying to go ahead and use my Hilton rewards and book a place and all that stuff. And she's like, "Well, what's your name?" And it's like, you know, Mark Holmes and stuff. She said, "Oh, my husband to be. His last name is Holmes and stuff and things." So, you know, she was real nice and friendly and things. And I said, "Well, we're doing, you know," I said, "there's going to be 5 of us in the room." She's like, "5 of you guys?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "It's a guy's trip. We're hitting the road and stuff. And that's why we got the suite and things like that." She's like, "Oh, you're going to be like the movie Hangover, huh?" She's like, "Don't wake up and be married." I was like, "Too late. All of us have woken up and we're all married." Not to each other.
Yeah.
Pause. All right, so I got some cones there for you, my man. Are you ready for the road trip?
Yeah, you know, when it's here, you know, we're a month out. You know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm never looking forward to a 17 or 16 hour drive, but you know, it'll be fun, man. We're not in a big RV, so we should be all right.
I can't wait. You know what? I love being on the road.
I like driving, but I don't like having a time
being on
limit.
the road. Well, see, and the other thing, you know, I actually like driving.
Stop off and, you know, hang out with everybody. We'll get there about the day 3 of the draft. You know.
So. Oh no, we're gonna get there. We'll be there on time. That won't be a problem. Good call, Mark. Not to go on a Marriott trip. Yeah, definitely not. Where were we here in the conversation before we got rudely interrupted by some eagle trolls, cockroaches that were here that we had to kind of swat? But we were talking about the philosophy on the team of what to do with this first round pick. Now, I know, Brian, you are the draft guy. You know, I wish I had your skills as far as all the players and stuff. And we were talking about a prospect offensive guard who.
Yeah, I brought him up on the show yesterday on our live. He's the guy, if the board falls a certain way, he fits our scheme more. Now, I did hear, who is he? Is he in here? I don't see him, but he was talking about Steve Avila. He fits perfectly in what we're trying to do. You know, he's a true guard. He's only 6. I say only, but he's 6'3", a little over 300 pounds, which is a guard. You know the tackles in this league. He ain't a tackle. He's played a lot of tackle, but he's more of a guard. You know, I'm not saying I want him with our 26, but if the board goes the way I think it might, you might see a situation where if they don't trade down, they take him there. And that's my prediction. That's the guy I think they're going to get at 26.
Well, Mark, if you remember, he did say late first, second round.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know,
you could probably trade back and still get him.
Yeah, I would want to know. That's exactly what I want to do. Assuming Bijan Robinson is gone. Now, people are saying, we shouldn't take a running back. This is where last year at this time, I was not happy with the Cowboys because they didn't really address many needs before the draft. If you guys remember, they hardly addressed anything. We went in the draft
some of our own guys after letting so many go.
And I kept saying every week, I'm sure you guys remember, I expect something big. I expect something big. Shit didn't happen until way after. And anything that did happen, it seemed big, but in retrospect, it really wasn't, other than bringing back D-Law after he had to go to Jerry and beg for money. But I'm happy with Will McClay being able to sit there and take the best player available. As much as I don't want a running back in the first round, if Bijan Robinson is there at 26, which people, I'm telling you, the more and more I look at these team needs and just look at free agency and how much little that the running backs are getting and how many running backs are in the draft, Bijan is more of a 50-50 chance he's going to be there. I kind of hope he's not there because I don't really want to take him in the first round, but I'll be excited if we get him because he's elite. But if he's gone, let's assume that he's gone, then you got to look at the wide receivers, Quentin Johnson. Outside of Jackson Smith and Jibba out of Ohio State, to me, he's the next best all-around dynamic wide receiver that we could possibly get. Do I want a receiver in the first round? Not necessarily, but I think it could be either him or Steve Avila, unless one of these defensive guys drop. But there's so many linebackers in this draft, Mark, and I know you're upset about Wagner, but please don't be, man. Please don't be, man. I could rattle off a half. Like the running backs are unbelievably deep, man. Unbelievably deep. So
Mark could also go after Gibbs. We might have to move up in the second, but Gibbs.
Well, that's why we were like we were talking about it. Mr. Cowboy said we drop down, and pick up a pick in the late 30s in the second round and get another top 100 pick. That's where it's at. Now, again, if there's a couple guys, I'm going to call it here, guys. There's going to be 5 quarterbacks. I'm calling it now. I saw this on one of the podcasts I was watching. I thought about it. Atlanta Falcons are going to surprise everybody, and they're going to take Hendon Hooker. Hooker, who's a second or third, normally a third rounder. They're going to take Hendon Hooker. Mark my words. So there's going to be 5 quarterbacks taken before we pick. Somebody's dropping that really shouldn't be there at 26. I'm just excited about it. But as well as I do, the draft never goes like how everybody's doing these mock drafts. It never goes that way. There's guys taken in the first round that are like, oh my God, I had him in the bottom of the second, or I had him in the third. There's going to be a couple guys. New England's good for that. But I expect Hooker to be taken in the first round. So
what really sucks though about the draft placing right now is that the Eagles, they draft, what is their first pick?
Yeah, they draft 10 and 30. They're sitting pretty.
If Bijan Robinson is there at 10, there's no way.
They're not taking him at 10. I'm telling you now. What they're going to do, I'm hearing, they're going to drop down. They only have 5 picks. Only have 5 picks. Now, they may take Bijan, but it'll probably be a 15. They need help on defense. I know they re-signed some guys, but, they need a wide receiver too. But, it's like I don't think they're taking Bijan. There are so many running backs, man. I just don't see it. I think they're taking an edge rusher.
Well, it's going to be what it's going to be on there. Let me answer one question real quick for Terrell Pinkney. Will we be live streaming for the draft? That is a good question. I'm actually trying to figure out a way to be lean and mean to be able to broadcast. The question will be is how is the cell service? I know like when I was at the Super Bowl, when it was in San Francisco, best Wi-Fi I've ever seen in my life. I was literally like in 2 seconds uploading stuff and it was no problem to do anything. I don't know how it's going to be in Kansas City for the draft. I'm going to basically make my system so it can all fit in like a little bag. 2 mics. We'll use our cell phone to be actually the camera, and I've got a mic mixer that I can put all these things together, because that's the other problem is there's so much noise that you really need to have like a mic so that way you're only getting the stuff. So we are going to try to be live streaming from the venue. So we'll find out, right, Brian?
Yeah. I'm debating on getting like a Wi-Fi thing myself, but we'll figure that out. But yeah, I think the Eagles, if they were smart, they would drop down. Use that 10 pick for somebody who wants a quarterback and drop down into the teens
and pick up another, maybe a second rounder.
And just remember, they have number 30. Look for Jamar Gibbs to end up in Philly at 30.
The thing is, though, if somebody is trading up to that 10th spot, the Eagles could still be in front of us with a pick also, though.
They could.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Eagles are going to, I would say that they really need defensive end help. They really do.
Okay. They lost a lot on their defense.
They need linebacker help. So, as much as they re-signed Slay, it's really a short year deal. I mean, I was thinking stick and pick and, just have them get a cornerback. But they went ahead and re-signed Slay, which I think was a mistake. That's just me. Or,
not a mistake for us, though.
No.
Let's see.
I just think for them, there was, looking at the draft, man, they were in a perfect spot to get, whether it was Joey Porter Jr., whoever's there. I really like Witherspoon. So they were in a perfect spot, but I think they only have 5 picks. Just remember that. Like a team that's up against the cap, what's one thing that they need to have? They need to go young. As much as everybody's talking about how great the Eagles are. They're kind of on the older side with, re-signing Fletcher Cox. Why would you do that? I don't understand. You're paying Fletcher.
Kelsey also on the offensive line. He's old.
And he's good.
Shout out to Jillian.
He's old.
Romaldo becoming a channel member.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Rhonda,
you.
How are you? But yeah,
and I missed another. My apologies. I missed another channel member.
There he is, Twiz. He's got it nailed. He's an Eagle fan. He said the same thing that I was saying. I don't know that they would go with Cansey because I think Cansey is going to drop in the draft, but they're going to get a defensive player with their first pick. They only have 5 picks, so they need to get a couple more picks. So look for them to drop with that, to bail out of that first pick.
I think you had to take offensive tackle in a 26th pick.
One quick thing on Slay. Here's the one thing on Slay I will say. The Eagles, it was either let him go and take a $22 million dead hit and have to fill the space, but with them redoing the contract, his cap number is $11 million. So, I'm sorry.
It was one of those deals where they were kind of forced to do this. It's not a good thing, people. Eagles fans, it's really not a good. It totally screws up your flexibility. You lost with both of those guys. You gave up 40 many times. What made that defense special was that defensive interior, the Hargraves alongside of Cox.
Gone.
When you had Cox just 2 years ago by himself, basically, he was exposed. So now you lost Hargrave. I just think that the window for them was last year. They're not going to be bad, but we need to go out and get the job done because it's sitting there for us. And I really like what the Commanders are going to be doing too. So, but anyway, Thomas Garrett, what's up?
The player that everybody should not be surprised if we get is Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse.
Yeah,
I love him in a second. Love him as a tackle. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. He's going in first.
He can play both tackle and guard.
Yeah, I like Bergeron.
He's a swing man.
I think you can get him at second, like in the second, but this is why I'm so, and it's not sexy. Everybody wants us to pick, unless Bijan Robinson is there. I just assume bail out because all these names that we're talking about are going to be there in the second round. I think there's no way that Osiris Torrance gets taken. I mean, I could see him going like ahead of Avila because he's more of a running. He can't get to the second level. His feet aren't great. He's not that athletic. So I would rather have Steve Avila, but not necessarily at 26. But I said the same thing about our center from a few years ago, Travis Frederick. So we were all saying the same thing. I'm sure. Who the hell is this guy? He was, and all the ESPN guys and the NFL Network guys were saying, "Oh, well, he's a second, third round guy." Well, how did that work out? So I agree with you guys. I would be happy to go offensive line, but I want to stick to our board too, though. If a guy drops to us, we need to take him.
Right.
If Bijan Robinson dropped, we need him.
You have to take him. You have to take him. That would
Agree
be
on that one.
window dressing your board, as they say.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited though. I know that's why I don't hop on until late to let you guys talk, because once I start talking draft, I don't shut up. So go ahead, man.
You're fine. You're fine. You know I'm not the draft guy.
Go ahead, sorry.
Hey, how are you? Sorry I missed you. I'm gonna watch your show on replay. I was out running errands.
That's
so.
okay. Busy like everyone else. Hey, that's fine. I just wanted to say hello to you.
How are you?
I'm good. I hope you are.
Yeah, I am. It's just busy. Like, we got a good day here for once. It's been raining nonstop for the last 3 days. It's beautiful. Yeah. So, yeah,
I'm here.
I'm just excited to get to the draft. This is where it's just.
So, what do you think about taking Wright at 26 and taking Smith, defensive tackle, at 70?
What? Maisie Smith out of
Michigan.
Maisie Smith, yeah, he's a big boy. You know, I don't know about you guys, and me, as I really get into these draft guys, just the whole Taco Charlton thing scares the living hell out of me, because that's the one thing about he doesn't have much. He's just more of a run stuffer. Yeah. So do we want to take that, like in the second round? You know what I mean? Dallas normally waits on those type of guys. I would be a little bit skeptical of that, but hey, what's up, Sugar Daddy? How are you, buddy? Eagles for Life's in the house.
But he's bigger than Cansey, though, right?
Yes, he is. He is bigger than Cansey. But you know what? I think at Cansey, not that it really worked out for us, but we did win a Super Bowl. I think Cansey reminds me just a little bit of Russell Maryland back in the day. Russell Maryland was not a tall guy.
Right.
But man, his first step and his hands were incredible. You know, I really like Cansey. So this is where you pick your poison. I mean, what do we want? Do we want to reach for an offensive tackle, or do we want to take a guy like Cansey? I just want to drop.
You know the Cowboys,
you know what I mean? It's a tough call. It's a tough call.
That first round pick, they want to get the highest prospect at a position. So,
question for y'all.
Yeah, you're right with that. Go ahead.
So
what do y'all think about them switching that offensive guy over to defense?
He ain't going to be on the team long. That's Phil's guy. You know, Phil. You know, fellow. Listen. It was.
I think they was trying to do like a little Nate Newton experience or something.
How many times you see that happen, James? Though, and I think they really like the kid, but
they're trying to find a place for him because they've got the exception because he's an international player. So it's kind of like,
is it still there? Is it still
I think
an exception?
it is. I think it is.
If it is, this is the last year.
Yeah.
He may be on the roster this year as a defensive tackle. So, hey, I just say I wouldn't really hold my breath on that. I was hoping he was going to work out at tackle, but
well, see, here's the other reason to go ahead and hold on to him too, because the Cowboys are still trying to build that fan base from Mexico. There you go.
This is true.
Yeah, would you take Sanders and Henley at the second and third picks?
I love Henley, man. I'm not as high on Sanders as long as Jerry can stay the hell out of the way. Just because he's from Arkansas, he's a raw talent. Give me Henley out of Washington State. He is a sideline to sideline physical beast. So that's why I was telling Mark, there's like Henley. You got Dorian Williams, I think, out of Tulane. He's another guy I love. You got Cam. Help me out. Cam out of Indiana. There's a guy. There's just a lot of linebackers. It would have been like getting Bobby Wagner would have been a luxury. Now we can have the argument. Do you want Bobby Wagner over Leighton Vander Esch? And I'll have that argument with you. I would have went Bobby Wagner, but that ship has sailed. So, once we got Vander Esch, it was going to be, all right, Bobby, you want to come for a 1 year, $3 million deal? You're welcome. That wasn't happening. It just wasn't.
Yeah, sadly.
I know. So
would you trade
that
$7
million? Would
you trade the 129 pick for 2 picks to get 2 offensive linemen?
I think once you get to that point, I think if you're going to trade it all, it's going to be with that first pick. Listen,
Okay.
I miss the olden days, and that's assuming that it be John Robinson or somebody, or I expect Carter to drop. I'm just listen, and I see Twiz. He's in here. He's an Eagle fan. If Carter drops to 10, you guys just hit a home run. So that's my fear, that if Carter's going to drop to 10. I don't think Carter. That's the D end out of Georgia. I think he's going to go into the 6 to 8 range. But if he drops to 10, watch out, because Philly, that's who you should take. But I think you can trade out of the first round pick. I miss the olden days where we traded and then traded again. I want as many top 100 picks as you could get. That's where you win your Super Bowl normally. It's just my opinion. Unless somebody drops to us that they love, if they stick and Robinson's gone, I'm telling you, our pick is going to be Avila out of a TCU. They love Avila.
Last question, fellas. Would you take Robinson in the 6th or 7th round out of UCLA for a quarterback?
Yeah, I don't know. Am anybody more familiar with him?
That would not be me.
You talking about Charbonnet?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Robinson, the quarterback.
Oh, the quarterback. Yeah.
Robinson. Would you pick him up in the 6th or 7th round?
I mean, they're going to take one. So if, I don't know. Knowing them, I still think they're going to take the guy out of TCU as an unrestricted free agent, Duggan, because they want a guy that they could groom. I like the guy out of Houston, Athune, and I like Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue. These are all 5th round and later guys. To me, why not go out and get an actual guy who's got the measurables and strong arm mobility? Why, wait and get like a redhead at a TCU who doesn't look very good to me? But, that's the rumor. But yeah, I'm not going to be opposed. That's fine. If he's good, I'm good with that.
What about Tune in the 7th round?
Yeah, I like Tune. I really like him out of Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like him. Hey, Clayton Tune. My man's got everything. He's just raw, but that's what you want with a guy that you got to put on the practice squad. So
there you go. Okay.
Anyway,
it's always good to get depth. So
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe next time if our first 2 quarterbacks go down, we don't have to depend on Ben DiNucci.
That's why guys, I was kind of disappointed that we brought back
Cooper.
Yeah, I was. Because, all right, so now we're going to get a young guy. So what's going to happen? Are we getting rid of Greer? I liked Greer. Greer was coming off a big injury last year. That's why he didn't get. But to me, Greer is better than Cooper Rush. Greer has the mobility and a stronger arm.
Well, most fans at the final cuts were like, get rid of Cooper Rush and keep Will Greer as the backup.
Well, that's what I would have liked, only because just what I wanted. I don't really need to have 4 quarterbacks, and if we do, we can find somebody in emergency.
I got a question though.
Good.
I got a question though. If we were to trade Cooper Rush, what do you think we can get for him?
A ham sandwich.
Not much. No, we can't get much. He was out there free.
Yeah. If nobody would have signed him, listen, if nobody would have signed him,
he was free
as a free agent. Why would somebody then trade for him?
Yeah, he was a free agent. That means he could go anywhere. Remember last year, I was getting so annoyed because I heard people who I actually think they know what they're talking about, saying, "Oh my God, I'm hearing around the league that you could get a 3rd round pick if you were to trade Cooper Rush." This is when Dak came back, or do it before the end of the season.
Well, you had people who said that Cooper Rush should be the starter and Dak should be benched.
Well, if you used and listen, I hate having to hammer a guy when we go 4-1 with him. He did what he was supposed to do, but man, was he limited. He was limited.
The Eagles game, but
he did cost us the Eagles game. The Eagles know how to beat our backups, right, to us.
Yeah, that's all.
Last one for real though, gentlemen. Would you take Stetson Bennett at 212?
That's the quarterback, Stetson Bennett out of Georgia, correct?
He can be gone by then.
Yeah, I mean,
he is the Texas boy.
all of these names that you're talking, man, I'm fine with, Edwin. I'm good with, because it's going to be a developmental guy. So, you know,
I just talking about a quarterback that's won 2 CAA championships.
I'm good with that.
I think he'll be going second round.
No,
I don't know about that. I don't know, but you know,
I think he's going.
He's only 6 feet.
But just remember, you heard it here.
You know how to win, though.
Hendon Hooker, the guy that I really like, he gonna be gone. He's gonna. Everybody's saying third round, the quarterback. He's gonna go in the first round.
But
so
he's
I'm
too
telling
old.
you,
He's too old.
I don't want him, but I'm just telling you, Atlanta. That's who they're gonna take. I just think that they're gonna reach here for this guy. And I mean, I saw it somewhere and I thought about it and I'm like, I agreed. I'm like, yep, that's what Atlanta's going to do. So there's going to be 5 quarterbacks off the board before we pick.
And see, that's advantageous for us because then that means there's only 19 picks before us. So if you got 5 quarterbacks, you know, edge rushers are going to be going off the board. So you've got to figure the top 3 or 4 of those guys are going to go. And, you know, left tackle is going to go. So you know about 3 or 4 of those are going to go. You know, that cornerbacks and wide receivers.
Well, there's a chance, and I mentioned this last night. There's a guy, Witherspoon, the cornerback. I don't know how anybody thinks of him. He's a highly rated cornerback. He's a type of guy that could drop. You know, everybody gets caught up with the Joey Porter Jr. because of his father. Not that he's not a good player, but he's so raw. If you watch Joey Porter Jr., I would want him, but not in the top 10. He's just awful handsy. You know, he's just a very raw prospect. It's one of those, you take him. You know how cornerbacks go. Sauce Gardners don't come around every year. But at the end of the first round, if a Witherspoon is there, oof, man, that's another guy that he would be the top guy on your board between him and Bijan. So
Joey Porter, he's a little grabby too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's a little grabby, and it's like he's a talent. He's 6'2", and that's great. And we ain't going to get him, but he's going to go before guys that are probably better. Like right now, day one. So it'll be interesting to see. That's what's fun about the draft, because these teams just get locked in on a position, and they're going to take it. And Atlanta's one of them teams that's going to help everybody else out, because they're going to take a quarterback. Another team's going to take a player that nobody's thinking about. Somebody brought up Drew Sanders. He is not a first-round pick, but, you know, his athletic ability, you know how that goes in this league. You know, somebody may take him just because of that.
Right.
You know,
I got a question real quick, y'all.
First round pick needs to have more than just athleticism. You need to have skills, pass rush moves, you know, be able to tackle, discipline. You need to have more than just one trait. But anyway, go ahead, Mr. Cowboy.
All right, let's say we do get lucky and Bijan Robinson drops 26. We take him. What happens with Davis and Jones? Like, are they gone? Or are we gonna practice squad them or what? What do you guys think? We carry 4 maybe?
Well, you need a lot of running backs. Yeah.
Somebody will be on the practice squad, and they'll bring him up and down as they need him.
Because you're going to have Pollard. Because, you know, whoever running back they get.
Well, you notice how quickly Tony decided to sign
didn't we
his franchise tag? Because that gives the Cowboys no out now. See, he realized, oh, shit, they just got Ronald Jones for $1 million. Zeke, nobody wants him. Barkley's out there. I mean, Barkley's getting the tag. You got Derrick Henry that they're trying to trade, and nobody's biting. Let me sign this and take this $10 million right now.
Yeah, Ronald Jones, everybody. Don't get overly. Listen, that was a good move to fill a spot, but he's not guaranteed. He's not guaranteed to be on the team. It's a non-guaranteed deal. I mean, I expect him to be on the team, but it's not a big deal either way. But like we signed Rico Dowdle back, you know, just like that Chuma Edoga that we got. He's a guy, he's not real good, you know. I mean, I'm not going to lie to anybody and say that he's great. In 17 games started, he's given up 9 sacks. But what a guy like Edoga does, like I said last night, he allows you to put him in a preseason game, right, in the second half when you're trying to find out who's going to make your team. He's going to do good. And at least that'll give the running backs, the young quarterback, that'll give them a chance, like the young receiver, that'll give them a chance to shine with a defensive rush that's just not going to overwhelm an offense. So that's why you get these guys, you know, for the preseason. But, you know, yeah, you need at least 4 running backs, you know. So, you know, like we're going to draft one. I just don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Ronald Jones and Chuma Doga were teammates at USC.
That is true. Yes, you are right, Thomas. Yeah, we wanted Chuma at the deadline, but of course we weren't, and it was fine. We wanted him for depth. He was traded to Atlanta. They decided not to re-sign him, so we get him. That's why I'm kind of upset with myself that I didn't see the Brandon Cooks thing coming, because we did reach out last year. So, you know, I should have expected them to revisit that, but you know, you can't get them all, right?
No, you can't.
All right. Do we need a center?
You backup center.
Well, there's a guy that I would love to have in a second round if he's there. Just it all depends how the draft works, you know. But I like that guy, the center out of Minnesota, John Michael Schmitz, because the good thing about him is he could play guard. So you could play him at guard right now, and if and when we decide to move on with Biotish or not, he would literally be the best center. So,
what about Tipman?
Not as much as John Michael Schmitz, but yeah, I don't know that he could play guard. That's what's good about Schmitz. Schmitz has the size and athleticism to play guard. So, I don't know that they'll take him, but I like the position flex. You take John Michael Schmitz, you put him in. If you don't get Avila, you put him in a left guard, and you leave him alone. You evaluate Biotish. When Biotish's contract is up, you know how they like these comp picks. You slide Schmitz over, and Schmitz can be a Pro Bowler, you know, as a center. I don't know that Biotish will ever be a Pro Bowler, even though he had a great year. I don't know that he's ever going to make a Pro Bowl.
So what do you think about Voorhees?
Voorhees, he's the one that tore his ACL at the combine. So if you get him, he ain't going to be ready this year.
Okay.
So,
which means that's, that's the guy the Cowboys will draft.
Like that. Yeah. Like we like to draft guys like that, just, you know, maybe in the 6th round, a 3rd round guy, 4th round guy. We get him in the 6th round to get him on the cheap. That's be right up Jerry's alley.
Well, that's that whole philosophy, that 2nd round pick. We're going to get a 1st round talent for less. All right. Okay. So we are
game time, Brian.
Yes.
Y'all already know when I'm going. Y'all already know where I'm going on what I'm about ready to say.
What are you gonna say?
If there was a running back who would be a steal, that running back would be Muhammad Abraham from the University of
Minnesota. Yeah. I agree.
Well, we happen to draft pretty good running backs from Minnesota.
Well, listen, I'm looking at the list of running backs. Okay, it is so deep, it's scary. Okay, you got Bijan, you got Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs fits with us only because of Pollard. To me, he's a smaller guy, but you know, we only have Pollard for 1 year. I would not take him. You got Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. I don't dislike Charbonnet. My problem with Charbonnet is he's got unbelievable amount of carries in a 4-year college career. He's already coming out of college spent. I mean, and he's good, but I'll pass on him. You got Devin A-Chain out of Texas A&M. Again, more of a Pollard guy, but man, is he quick? And when he puts his foot in the ground, he's gone. You're not catching him.
A-Chain is good.
You got Tank Bisbee out of Auburn. Dude, this dude is a beast. Come on. I mean, and then you got, I'm not as big on Zach Evans. You got Kendre Miller out of TCU. He's another one. You got Sean Tucker out of Syracuse.
Yeah.
I mean, this is on and on, but there's a name. Everybody's talking Tajay Spears out of Tulane, and he is awesome. But there's a guy that I love, Kenny McIntosh. I love Kenny McIntosh out of Georgia, and I like the backup running back out of Texas, Roshan Johnson. Johnson, I'll take him every day and twice on Sunday, and I'll be happy. I mean, and I'm just naming all these are going to be around in the top 4 rounds. So we don't have to take. It's just I can't overlook Bijan at 26. I just can't. But I rattled off any number of guys that either come in and he's your bell cow from day one. And Pollard you could just use as a weapon all over the place. So,
well, it's definitely going to be interesting.
Hall out of Nebraska?
Yeah.
Oh, Hall, yeah. Northwestern, Evan Hall?
Northwestern, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, you got Hassan Hall out of Georgia Tech, so I don't know which one you're talking about. But
well, Marcus Blackman says we should trade up to get Bijan Robinson.
No,
I am not. I've never been that trade up guy. I still go back to the Morris Claiborne where we took a first and a second to move up because they said this guy is the best defensive player in the draft. And when you do that, when you take that risk, not only you're screwing up your first round pick, you're screwing up your second one, which should be a starter on your roster. And as I look at teams that have made so many of these move ups, you look at the Jets, how many times they've moved up trying to get a quarterback where it set them back. You look at, the Eagles moving up for Carson Wentz and all they gave up. They at least were able to turn it back to get some of that capital back. They basically screwed the Colts with Carson Wentz, who believe he's still that dude. But there's so many teams that have tried to reach to get that quarterback that, or just moving up in general. I'm more the guy that moves back. With our scouting department, the way that they find guys, remember, we moved back to get Travis Frederick.
I agree.
We moved back to get Micah Parsons. So if I can get me some more picks in there, hey, if they don't see – the one thing you can say about the Cowboys is they're pretty good with first-round picks. If they look and say there's not value there, I'm on the board of saying I trust what they do and move back and take somebody else.
Is it safe to say that we need to reinforce our offensive line at this moment? Yes.
We're razor thin. It sounds like a good starting lineup. If Terrence Steele comes back 100%, we're seeing workouts of him. Hey, that's great. But what if he's not? What if he's Michael Gallup? Tyron Smith, he couldn't get out of training camp last year. What happens if that happens again? And then you've got, Tyler Smith, who was tackle. Now he's going to be a guard again.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I want to talk about.
So, and if he has to go back to tackle, who's your guard? You let go Connor McGovern, who I wasn't sold on. Now, I know we got, Josh Ball. We've got Matt Lewinsky and stuff, but you're talking about guys that have never started in the NFL. Are you ready to go ahead and say, this is what we're going into the season with?
No. We need somebody. It's going to be Steve Avila, I'm telling you now. I just have that gut feeling. It reminds me of a couple of years ago when Van Der Esch was taken. Everybody mocked Van Der Esch to us, and that's who we ended up with. So a few years ago. So it's going to be. That's who I think, and I would be happy with it. But I kind of would like to trade down, man. I think we need more young guys. I think what's the one thing we do good is draft. So why not give me as many bullets as I can? Now, the only thing I say is if there's a guy in the first round that drops to you, just remember if it's a running back, you get that 5th year, which is a big deal. So, that's the only thing I would say. Maybe we trade a future pick to move up in a second. Maybe we trade our pick to move way up or something for next year. There are ways to be creative, but I don't think you really need to do that. I don't think you need to move up in this draft. There's just way too much talent. So it's just a matter of in the first round, is there a guy that you have to have a 5th year on? To me, it's running back. That would be the only area that I must have a 5th year because how running backs, you don't want to have to pay him a second contract if you can avoid it.
But if Jalen Carter falls down 26, would you take him?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's absolutely.
One question, real quick, y'all.
Good.
Go ahead, man.
What do you guys think about that tight end out of Notre Dame?
I love him, but I'm not taking any tight end in the first round.
Really?
Man.
I think he's a generational talent, y'all. I think.
We heard that about Kyle Pitts too. And see, Atlanta took him. Has that made a difference on them winning?
Michael Mayer is good, but I don't think he's as dynamic Sorry about that. My dog's
What do you think he gets drafted at?
He'll probably go before us, but he'll be right around us. He might be there. I'm definitely out on the Utah guy. Everybody's talking, everybody's talking the tight end out of Utah. I don't. Yeah, I don't see it, man. I mean, he's not. Everybody's trying to compare him to the guy in Kansas City. Kelsey. He's not Kelsey. I mean, yeah, he can catch the ball. He's skinny. I mean, he's a smaller guy. He's tall, but he doesn't block, and he's coming out at 25. Now, I don't know. I'm not trying to be Mr. But he's not like a young kid. He's actually already 25. He's going to turn 26 in the middle of the year, which is old for a rookie. So it's like, let somebody else take him, man. There's a lot of tight ends that I like. I know Mark's guy will be there in the second round, possibly Darnell Washington. So I don't know that they would take Darnell Washington, but now you're speaking. 6'8".
But because of James Washington, we don't need no more Washington.
I hear you, man. They like Washingtons, they like Williamses, and they like Smiths.
Just don't work with us, man.
I know. I hear you, bro. I hear you. I don't think they would take Washington anyway, honestly, as much as I like them. We'll see. I really like our the two tight ends that we have, man. I think you guys are going to love our tight ends going forward. So I think we're good.
I like Hendershot and Ferguson.
Ferguson's going to be a beast, man.
I think a couple of Cowboys fans give him a hard time, considering Dalton Schultz just left to go to Houston. But I think we just got to give them guys a chance, though. But
they need more playing time.
The Cowboys will get a tight end in the draft.
Well, that's it. I called before the season when I did my breakdown on Ferguson. I said he was going to have 6 touchdowns and like eight, I think I said like around 700 yards. He ended up with 6 touchdowns and a little over 600 and some yards. He missed a couple weeks, but you got to know once Dalton Schultz came back, Dak was showing to Dalton. He wasn't getting the looks, that he was getting.
Real quick with that.
Yeah.
Who's tight end number 1 if it's out of them two? Hendershot or Ferguson?
It's Ferguson.
It's Ferguson. It will be.
It's Ferguson. Absolutely. Hendershot's more of a. If anybody's more of a Kelsey, it's Hendershot. He's a guy who he can get open, man. He's wiry. He's got some speed. I don't mind getting a tight end, but we don't have to do that in the first round. But if we get a guy like Mayer, I like Mayer more than Kincaid. That's for sure. So that's.
Yeah. And keep in mind, too, that tight ends is usually a position that it's hard coming out the box and being a great tight end. That's a position that is a very, very difficult spot. And both of those guys will start getting their NFL body on them and things and now know more what to expect. So you expect to see them to be able to take another step up. Remember, Dalton Schultz was a 4th-round draft pick?
Yeah. And remember, he wasn't good his first year.
Yeah,
at all. We were all not happy. We were like, this guy ain't gonna have no. Even the first 2 years was meh, and then he came into his own.
Well, it was him and Rico Gathers.
Yeah, Rico.
And what was our other one that we did?
We had the guy out of Philly. Remember, we got the guy out of Philly. The Eagles drafted him. Help me out, Thomas. Come on.
Jeez.
Remember?
He's a better blocking tight end.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But here's the interesting thing about Dalton Schultz was his first season, he had 12 catches for 116 yards, 9.7. Second year, he only had 1 catch for 6 yards. I think he was injured that year. Third year, 63 catches for 616. So it wasn't until his third year that he actually started playing well. So you start looking at that. He didn't have his first touchdown until his 4th year. To see actually Peyton Hendershot and those guys to at least do a lot better than what Dalton Schultz did until his 3rd year, they've got a good starting point at least. Now, this offense, West Coast, is predicated on having a great tight end. You need to be able to block, and you need to be able to catch.
Yeah, I agree.
I went Travis Hannah.
No. I thought it began with a W, but I know who it is. I'm horrible with names unless I'm.
Why am I having? It was just last year that we. Oh my god! Yeah. Blake Jarwin.
That's like a W. Yeah,
there you go. David Wiley. Shout out to David Wiley and Terry Lee. Appreciate the super chats. Okay. Yeah. But neither of those guys were highly touted tight ends. They weren't like, Kyle Pitts or anything like that. And mind you, Kyle Pitts only had, in 10 games, 356 yards last year. Ooh.
Yeah, but I think he has an obvious quarterback issue too, though, at the same time. But, good tight ends will still at least have about 800 to, about at least 800 yards, even with a bad quarterback.
Well, you got to figure if it's a bad quarterback, he's looking for a relief valve. And it seemed like the tight end would actually be that guy that I'm going to because he's a bigger target with the mismatch of having linebackers to guard him.
Yeah.
But then again, what do I know? I'm a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. All right, so we're going to roll out in about another 5 minutes, get our final thoughts in here. Are we... by the Dallas Cowboys this year?
Is this not why you were here?
Are we entertained this offseason?
Oh, yeah. I like it.
A lot more than last year.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody could be upset with what we've done. Yeah, we haven't done everything. And really, if you look at it, we didn't do a lot in free agency, like Mark says.
We didn't, really.
But we re-signed some pieces that I had no idea that we would get back. Donovan Wilson, I just did not think we would get him back, and shout out to
they found a way to do that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Well, what do you think if we get that guy from the Ravens, man, the defensive tackle,
Calais Campbell?
Yes, sir. We think that's still a deal.
I think that they're
he'd be a role player at this point in his career.
I don't know why they're not even talking to him. I guess he's looking for one big.
What, 6 sacks a year?
They're not even talking to him now.
Yeah, you know what? I've been hearing people say, you know what? When he left Arizona, I said, that's the one guy to go get. He's a team leader. I said.
You said he's huge.
He's huge. Oh, yeah. He's like 6'8", about 320, 330. He is big. One of the nicest people you'll meet off the field. But, yeah. He's like 6 or 7 sacks a year. The year he left the Cardinals and went to Jacksonville, he was a runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. 14.5 sacks. Angel 59. Shout out to you, Angel 59. Actually, I need to do a drawing here, and I didn't put everybody's name. Boy, I tell you what, we'll do the drawing tomorrow. I will get everybody's name and add it to you. Everybody who did a super chat or became a channel member today, I will get it, and then tomorrow night we'll do a drawing. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting Calais Campbell to be that guy who can play a role, give me about 30 plays a game, because he can get a hell of a push.
He could be like
hell of a push.
He could be similar to a Brandon Peters signing. You think so? Brandon Peters, he wasn't great, but he was definitely, helping us.
He'd be more like a Ndamukong Suh signing.
A great signing.
Yeah, I think the way the NFL is going, and it's been this way for years, but I think with the Dallas Cowboys, we don't need penetration really with our defensive tackles. If we can just stuff the run.
The run has been killing
us.
For the last 2 or 3 years.
Okay, stuff the run, and have a guy who's like, don't get carried away here, but he reminds me, even at this late stage of his career, of a David Irving type, where he's 6'8", right, Mark?
Yeah,
he could. You got to remember, coming
I'm not even going to try and get excited about
good luck throwing the ball over his head. And in those tight games, it's those D tackles that get the tip balls when you go, oh my God, the running back was wide open, or coming over the middle. It's those type of guys who win you the game. So I would love it. I just don't, I don't know why, man.
He's visiting the Bills and the Jets this week. And Atlanta, of course, likes him too.
He's going for a ring. Calais Campbell is going for a ring right now.
Then why are you visiting? Okay. Then why are you visiting Atlanta?
Now, I missed the beginning of the show. I know you're wrapping it up, Mark.
Yeah, no, go ahead. We can go.
What's the big deal?
What's the big deal of what?
You were saying it. Is there a big deal coming?
I'm waiting. Isn't that what they told us, that the Cowboys were making? It was a big deal that they actually did something the first week Or was it the two players?
Brandon Cooks and the trade for Gilmore, which we keep forgetting about. We keep forgetting that. That's how good of an offseason it's been. Gilmore is already forgotten about, but that was a big deal. You know.
Can I ask a question? Why don't we use Cox?
Pause.
I agree, man. We need to find out this year, Edwin. We need to find out about him.
I told y'all what's going on down now.
We need to find out about him. We need to find out about the other linebacker that we drafted. I think out of Mississippi State. I think. What was his name? Who's the other linebacker? Help me out, people.
The one with the back fusion?
No, you talking about he's from Oklahoma State. You talking about
yes.
Devin
Harper. That's it.
Yeah,
I just needed help. Yeah, we need to find out about Devin Harper. We need to find about Cox. We need to find out about Simi Fehoko, and this is probably the last year of Kelvin Joseph. If he makes the team. The only thing I'll say is we've lost a lot of special teams, and he was arguably our best special teams guy. So we may keep him one more year because he was surprisingly enough that good on special teams. So maybe we let him stick for one more year, maybe give him one last opportunity to be able to get him, play defense, but he ain't gonna be around long. So
yeah, we
need to find out about a lot of guys. Move on.
And Jabril Cox too, because I'd like to know what was going on with him, because there was a lot of
I'm telling y'all, Jabril Cox, he done cut somebody out down there. He done cut somebody out down there, or he done laid up with some coach's daughter down there. What done happened?
Him and Charlotte Jones.
Dan Quinn or somebody?
No, I'm sorry.
Look, Holmes, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I won a drawing about a month ago. Can I still claim the prize?
Yeah. Just email me, cowboysmark94@gmail, and we'll get you something.
You broke up on me. Say it again.
Cowboysmark94@gmail. I'll write it in the chat.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Tell him what he's won.
Do you know what you won on that drawing?
I think it was a plaque of wooden plaque of Des Prescott.
Of Dak? Okay.
All
right. Well, I'll tell you what. Email me like right now because I'll be going out of town tomorrow. Because I've got that with him with the star behind him. I've got those. We'll package it up and put it in the mail in the morning. All right.
Thank you.
We got that squared away. That was easy. All right. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Look, y'all. I'm gonna say this before I forget. I know the draft is next month. Everybody have that little personal first round draft choice. Look, whoever we get in the first round, let's just hope that they do their damn job.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
We're pretty good with the first round picks, so
yeah,
that's why I wouldn't be upset about the running back. If Bijan, he's going to come in, be the face of the team with CD and Dak, that would be awesome. If it's like an offensive guard, he's going to come in and start. Hopefully he's awesome. So outside of that, there's really nobody I have to have, man. You know what I mean? So
with me, I'm pretty satisfied. This is my last final thoughts. Pretty satisfied with what the Cowboys have done so far, but I wouldn't mind them going to get one more receiving piece for Dak. And I think so long as we don't got to blow the draft up, by like giving them a third round pick for Hopkins or whatever, this and that, I think that's just worth it 100%. I think we need to jump on that opportunity.
There it is.
That's what I'm thinking.
Amen on that one.
Listen, Hopkins could be the last piece that we need, y'all.
Let me. Just real quick, because you can use this as my final thought. Just bouncing off of what you just said. Then why not trade out of the first round? Okay, you pick up like a pick in a second, and another third round pick. Now you have 2 third round picks. Now you could trade one for Hopkins.
There you go.
Okay.
If only
You know what I
Derrick
mean?
Jones, I would tell you to do that.
So I think the longer this goes, that the Hopkins is not signed, we have a shot to do exactly that. To trade, whether it's the first round pick, drop out of the first, get somebody second, and then like a third.
Right.
I got one more thing to add, real
And
quick.
now you have 2/3, and now it's like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I got one more thing to add, real quick. Odell Beckham Jr. Is there any chance he's going to be a Cowboy? Any chance at all?
No, I'm not eating crow. No.
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
Nah.
Okay.
That is by definition a name player.
But
No.
I'm saying for the right price.
No, there's no right price.
No.
Okay. Oh,
no.
Man. Yeah. All right. I'm listening.
Never say never.
With Jerry Jones.
Never say never.
He sees jersey sales.
Yeah,
Odell's
if we're
gonna
trying to
sell
go
jerseys,
in and win it all, I don't care, man. It ain't gonna cost us. It ain't gonna cost us a draft pick. I wouldn't hate it, but especially now that we're not relying on them. Now you get to come in at your own pace, bro. And we got Brandon Cooks to take a top off of defense. We got CD. We got Gallup, who's gonna be even fresher. I don't care. We don't have to give up a pick. That's fine. I ain't paying you nowhere near what you want, but you can wear. You can do a 1 year prove it deal.
Start for 1 year, and then
Yeah, give him a 1 year, $7 million deal. I'd do it.
All right, that was my last thing, y'all. Y'all have a blessed week.
You too, buddy.
All right. I'm gonna end this on Jimmy Johnson, how they built the Dallas Cowboys. And I appreciate everybody that's being here, and definitely appreciate all of you guys that have been here as well. And I will see you guys soon.
Mark.
Yes, Stacy.
Yeah. So, all I wanted to say is I'm happy with the offseason. Thank you, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pleased. I did want Wags, but I think if we can get another piece, hey. But I feel a lot better this year than I did last year. So I'm happy. Go Cowboys.
All right. And with that being said, let's listen to Jimmy
Cowboys.
Johnson.
You're up, and then James Harris.
Jimmy Johnson, let me first say congratulations on getting into the Hall of Fame. Watching that live on television, that raw emotion was just beautiful. I have so many questions for you. I think about the only way I could get them in is to get a cooler of beer and head out and go fishing with you. Love to do that. But leaving the University of Miami and coming to the Dallas Cowboys, and at that time they were basically broke, busted, and thoroughly disgusting to watch. Having gone from the pinnacle down to the depths, what was that like? And the second part of this question would be, played football at JMU with Charles Haley, and knowing the character that he is and all the personalities that you had with the Cowboys, how were you able to mold them and keep them focused on the grand prize, which was winning?
Well, first of all, people look back on it and they say it was an easy decision to leave University of Miami. But we had gone through 4 straight seasons where we played a national schedule and been on national television every other week and only lost 2 regular season games. And so we had a powerhouse football team, and I knew it was going to continue that way because we had a great, group of talent. And then going to Dallas, Tom Landry is one of the greatest coaches of all time. Mm-hmm. But they had 3 straight losing seasons. They were at the bottom of the NFL at 3-13 because they just didn't have any talent. And and obviously there were some older players that helped us, in winning our Super Bowls. But a lot of it had to do with, I brought in Tony Wise, my offensive line coach, and he put together what is considered one of the greatest offensive lines in NFL history. But he did it with a free agent defensive tackle, Mark Tuinei, at left tackle. He did it with a left guard where the previous staff said get rid of him because he was too fat, Nate Newton. We took a 3rd round pick, 245-pound offensive guard. I asked Tony, I said, can you convert him to a center? He said, I'll make him into a center. So we moved Stepnoski to center. And then we took a 7th round pick, Kevin Gogan, who had struggled his early years. We moved him to guard. and took a 3rd round pick, Eric Williams, at right tackle. So, you know, those players hadn't developed, but Tony Wise was able to develop them into a great offensive line. And so, you know, the combination of having some great assistant coaches and acquiring a lot of talent with 51 trades in 5 years, we were able to win that Super Bowl. So it was a great feeling.
Thank you very much on that.
I'll follow up about Charles Haley.
Yes, he was a character.
He was a character, but he is one of my favorites. You know, Charles and I developed a great relationship after a few rocky roads there early in his career at Dallas. We had a couple of run-ins, but we really got together. You know, really, he came into my office after I had berated him a couple of times at one of the ball games. And he said, Coach, he said, if you will just get on to me one-on-one in your office, he said, I'll do anything in the world for you. I love playing for you. He said, but just don't embarrass me in front of the other players. And I said, you know, Charles, I may not always be able to do that, but I'll try. But from that time forward, we had a great relationship. And he was a big part of us winning Super Bowls.